It's the final classical game of the FIDE World Championship 2024, and the world champion is on your screen, Ding Liren and his challenger Domaraju Gukesh. The score is 6.5, 6.5. The one who wins today will become the world champion. In case of a draw, we move to the rapid tie breaks. Ding Liren takes off his jacket, places it on the chair, and gets ready. He has the white pieces and will try to press today, but I believe a draw is a very likely result because in such high pressure scenarios, no one wants to overpress and lose it. We can see Maurice Ashley inviting the guest today, but look at Gukesh. He's super focused. He's closed his eyes. He wants to just focus on the job at hand. And there we have him making the first move. He plays 1c4. Is that what Ding Liren is going to play? I believe the arbiter is going to come and put back that move. And we are about to begin. The players shake hands. The clock is started. This is, dear friends, the Ambit recap of the day. Ding Liren opens the game with knight to f3, a very super solid choice and one that Gukesh would have expected perhaps, but not so sure how deeply he would have prepared. He goes d5, g3. Wow, the reti opening is what Ding goes for. It has all the flexibility in the world because you haven't touched your c pawn nor your d pawns, so you can place it the way you want it. Now the bishop comes to g2, and let's see what Gukesh plays here. He has taken the center, and with knight c6, he's going for the reversed King's Indian. If you castle, I can go e5. But Ding is like, I'm going to play the reversed Grunfeld. He plays d4, and takes will be met with knight takes. So Gukesh tries to be very solid. He goes e6. And it makes sense, this move e6. White castles here. And black takes. The reason why this move is good is because black is already a tempo down when you consider it as the Grunfeld defense with reversed colors. So rather than being over ambitious here, Gukesh is trying to be solid with this structure, but Ding is going to strike at some point with c4, knight g e7 played. The idea is to take, queen takes, and the knight comes to c6. That's the plan. He goes pawn to c4. The pawn is pushed forward. And now Gukesh takes, knight takes d4. Queen takes on d4. And the knight jumps in to c6. Gukesh swivels his knight there. Knight is attacking the queen. The queen has to move, but where exactly? It can go to f4, e3, d2, d1. He goes to d1, and now Gukesh must push his pawn forward. And he does it. Pawn to d4. This is a very strong pawn. But if you look at the development, black is lagging behind. His king is in the center. The bishop is not yet developed. The rook is here. He plays bishop to c5. And now the d4 pawn is under pressure. He takes it. Pawn takes d4. And he takes back with the bishop. The bishop is nicely centralized here and looking very strong, putting pressure in both directions. The knight comes out to c3. And now taking here is not a good idea because after takes, the rook gets an open file, the bishop gets this important diagonal. So Gukesh calmly castles it out and tells Ding, what is your plan? And Ding does jump to b5. Now e5 would be a nice move here and a very strong one, because if you take, I take back with the pawn. Looks pretty good here. But Gukesh comes back to b6. And now white can actually start to press a bit with queen e2. Let's suppose e5, rook d1, queen f6, and bishop e3. And this position is very pleasant for white. In fact, Gukesh would be putting a lot of pressure here on Ding after bishop b, after queen. Ding would be putting a lot of pressure on Gukesh after queen e2 and rook d1. Well, right now we see Gukesh getting up from the chair, Ding coming back in, and now playing his pawn to b3. Maybe not the most accurate. Well, he wants to maybe get his bishop out to a3. a6 is played. There was a tactic with bishop f2, king f2, queen f6 trying to win here, but after bishop f4, e5 and king g1, white would be doing very well. So b3, a6. The knight comes back to c3. And now Gukesh, what is his move going to be? He goes bishop d4, attacking the knight on c3. Queen comes to c2. Oh, he goes bishop b2. He doesn't play his queen here. He goes bishop b2, defense here. And e5. Gukesh has now centralized his bishop, but in that process, he is giving up the d5 square here. Bishop to e6. So slowly and steadily, you can see the black pieces coming into good squares. The knight jumps in to the center, knight to d5. And now this is hanging. But he goes b5. What a move this is by Gukesh. b5 is an amazing move. So you could have played even a little bit calmly. You could have taken here. Maybe tried to bring your knight in, although f4 is quite irritating there. But b5 just destabilizes the knight on d5. He takes the pawn, which is not particularly a great idea. But I think Ding has found a way to equalize the position. His idea now after ab5 is to move the knight away, attack the knight here. Yes, knight to f4. Nice move played. And now c6 is hanging. Knight takes e6. Is threatened. Well, he plays e takes f4. And now let's see how bishop takes c6, attacking the rook. And Gukesh takes on b2. We are having mass exchanges here in the position. So it is slowly and steadily heading towards a draw. And tie breaks look very likely. Rook comes to b8. And the plan now is to play your queen up here. There's one small thing which I feel that black has in this position, which is that after, let's say, take, black is going to push the pawn to b4 and clamp two of the white pawns. Bishop f3, he moves back. Maybe bishop d5 was much more prudent, trying to trade more pieces. But bishop f3, Gukesh takes on g3. H takes g3. And now pawn to b4. So there's a slight pressure here. Nothing much, nothing serious, but one pawn sort of clamps the two pawns and Ding immediately wants to unravel. He's like, I don't want to keep waiting with you, Gukesh, trying to put pressure. B takes a3. And now after rook takes a3, which is played. Well, if you take bishop takes b3, then you're going to lose a piece after rook b1. That's the problem. So g6 is played here. And the queen comes up to d4. So Ding is like super keen to even trade off the queens, even if it means giving up a pawn. Pawn comes up to b4 and Gukesh finally says, okay, thank you for the pawn, I'm taking it. Takes. And logically, this is a good decision because you are essentially a pawn down, but it's 3 versus 2, and you now trade another pair of rooks. You soon, if you get off the bishops as well, then it's a draw. The rook endgame, so let's say rook takes rook, bishop takes, and now imagine that I play king g7, you go here, I take, this is a dead draw. There's nothing here. So Gukesh has to avoid the trade of bishops. And he goes g5. Have a look at the clock. We are on move 32. Gukesh has 53 minutes. Ding has 22 minutes on the clock. So time pressure is not really a big problem. He goes bishop d5, offering a trade of bishops. And Gukesh stays there. He plays bishop f5 because he knows he wants to continue fighting. And this is the thing about Gukesh, that no matter what the position, he has made Ding fight for every half a point. But here doesn't seem very likely that he'll be able to convert. He plays his king to g7, and in fact the tie breaks will really be very interesting because everyone has predicted that Ding is slight favorite when it comes to tie break. He has a much higher rapid rating. Rook to c4, offering a trade. Once again, if you trade the rooks, the bishop endgame is a dead draw. There is nothing much to play for here. So Gukesh would love to keep both the pieces here. And he goes rook b1 check. And let's see what Ding Liren continues with. King goes to g2. And now he's trying to go bishop e4. Once again, to trade off the bishops. Rook e1. And the rook goes to b4. h5 has been played here with the idea maybe at some point to go h4, but I think what Gukesh is aiming for is g4, f5, king h6, king g5 and h4. So he has a long-term plan in mind and he'll try to execute it. Not so sure if he'll be successful here, but at least you keep playing. Also, the tie break is just the next day. So if you're able to play a long game, by the way, 40 moves are done. So Ding Liren gets 30 more minutes on the clock. He's 38 minutes on the clock, but Gukesh has 1 hour 12 minutes. King h6 and Gukesh gets up. Ding comes back in. And he comes and puts his king back on g1. I'm a little bit in awe of how Gukesh is playing here because, you know, most of the players would already have lost the intent to play on. You know, they would continue, but not with this laser sharp focus that Gukesh is showing. Pawn to g4. I think this would be one of the strategies of Gukesh before the World Championship match, that let's fight till the bitter end in every single game. And that's the commitment that he's showing even now when the draw is in sight. But I think having an extra pawn means that you can continue. Like bishop b7 played. And now the king comes up to g5. So this plan which we were talking about of f5 coming in, f3 has been played. And that's a good move by Ding actually. Because now with trading another pair of pawns, it'll become very tough for Gukesh to win. Although Ding has been bleeding a little bit of time, he has 21 minutes on the clock. Gukesh has 1 hour 11 minutes. He plays f5. You can push your pawn to f4, but I think Ding wants to simplify. So taking on g4 makes a lot more sense. So fg. He takes back at g4. And now the best way to defend is just to keep waiting with your rook on the 4th rank. So f4 is very difficult to achieve. The bishop can keep moving back and forth on this diagonal. Bishop f7 played. The king comes up to f2. He gives a check. At this point, we have tickets of the tiebreak that have gone live. So many people can go and check them out and buy them. And I think in 7 minutes, we have sold almost all the tickets. Because the tie breaks, very likely king goes back to f6. A rook check. And whether Gukesh, he goes g5 back. And I think Ding will come back to b4. Yes, he's not going to allow pawn to push. He's at 16 minutes on the clock. Gukesh keeping an hour, more than an hour on the clock. Bishop e6 played. Rook a4. And now rook b2. Attacking the bishop here. Well, if you move your bishop here to c6, that would be nice. But bishop a8, also a nice move. Just putting the bishop in the corner of the board. The only thing is the bishop now can move only on this diagonal, king f6. Not that it matters much. Rook f4 played by Ding. Another good move. And let's see what Gukesh plays here. He goes king e5. Ding takes a sip of water. 9 minutes on the clock for the remaining game. Gukesh has 1 hour 7 minutes. He plays rook f2 and it's a huge blunder. It's a huge blunder. Let's look at Gukesh's expressions here. Look at him. He zones in. He can't believe. He can't believe what has happened here. He moves in. He's like, what? Ding, did you really play this? Guys, the winning idea is to take the rook and put the bishop on d5. And look at Gukesh. He's seen it. He can't believe it. The world championship is moments away. Because if he wins this, he becomes the world champion. He tries to focus here. And now takes the rook. Rook takes f2. And Ding knows he's blundered. Look at Ding there. Bishop d5 played. Offering a trade of bishops there. He looks at Ding. And now a bishop trade cannot be avoided. That is the main problem of having the bishop there. And this is a lost king and pawn endgame. Unbelievable turnaround. We'll have to refund the tickets. For sure. Because this is over. Look at Ding there. He's lost it. Gukesh gets up and starts walking around. Just like his typical walk that he does. King comes up to e3, but this is over. King will come to e5. And he will push back the white king here. For example, if king f2, king d4. King e2, king here, king here, king here. And when you push him back, you're simply going to win this pawn. And there you have it. Ding Liren has lost. Gukesh can't believe what has just happened here. This is the ultimate moment of the World Championship. Ding Liren is going to throw in the towel here. He pauses the clock. He resigns the game. Gukesh is the world champion. Look at Ding congratulating him. Look at Gukesh. He's smiling. He can't believe he's become the world champion here. It's absolutely stunning moment in the history of chess, because not only has Gukesh become the world champion, Ding moves out, but Gukesh has become the youngest world champion ever at the age of 18 years only. And he looks up at God. Thanks the Almighty. The arbiter wants to shake hands with Gukesh, but Gukesh is in his own world. He's laughing, he's crying, he has all emotions flowing out. He's so happy. But he also remembers all the hard work put in, all the nervous tension and energy that he went through. And you never see Gukesh with so many emotions. He is generally so stoic. Look at that smile on his face. The crying there. Wow, this might well be one of the most beautiful celebrations after becoming the world champion as he puts back his opponent's pieces. This is what he learned as a little kid, to set up the chessboard. But this time, it's just so much more special. Arkady Dvorkovich, the FIDE president, comes and shakes hands with him. And Gukesh now starts to set up his pieces there as all the journalists join in to take a shot of him. And there we have Maria Emelianova shooting him, taking a nice little shot there. And Gukesh placing the pieces, everyone congratulating him. And that final act, just kind of pays his respect to the chessboard, which has given him so much, and puts back his player card. Maybe one of the most amazing moments in chess history, and raises his hands in victory. Domaraju Gukesh is the world champion. He's now going to move out and meet his team. As he moves out of the playing hall, everyone follows him, but he wants to meet his dad. There you have it. Gukesh comes out and his dad Rajnikant waiting for him as they hug. What a moment this is. What a moment. What a beautiful moment as his dad and him relive that amazing journey that they have had. Over a decade of chess, and Gaevsky, his head trainer. Wow. This is absolutely amazing. We are in tears. And you can check out more videos of this final moments on ChessBase India. But for now, we'll leave you with this. Domaraju Gukesh is the world champion, and we couldn't be more happy.
This December, the world's top chess minds clash in the heart of New York City at the FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Championship. Witness world number one Magnus Carlsen and other stars from across the globe. Rapid and Blitz, chess in its most thrilling form, unpredictable and unforgettable. Fast moves, tactics and blunders, and moments that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Witness the pinnacle of chess excitement. Get your tickets now at worldrapidandblitz.fide.com.